I'm always going on and on about the Buccaneer 18 and how much I like the boat. I think the thing I like about it the most, it has all the maneuverability of a smaller boat, but it's just long enough. The water line really helps in slightly bigger water. It's definitely something you don't take out, giant, you don't go offshore, you don't get in too much, but it really is a great riverboat. High wind is, once you get onto the boat, you can handle it in really high wind, and it's fast. It it just tracks really well. Um, I sail it in the Columbia River Gorge in high winds. You're never real far from shore. That's what I like a lot. This is not for doing long legs, I don't think, across, large bodies of water. But it handles bigger water, bigger waves, and wind, I think, better than people realize until they sail it a while and, really get onto it. The other thing I like about the boat, having a spinnaker, it's got a lot of the, aspects of sailing a larger boat without all the, upkeep and mooring fees and all that things that, entail having a larger boat. So, people are aware of this. The dinghy, you have sails and you have upkeep that you have to buy, but you don't have the cost. Trailer sailing is cheaper. But what I like about this boat is you have, it has the ability to sail, I think, in bigger, higher winds and bigger waves than, smaller boats. I started on the Laser, and I love the Laser. It has a nice big cockpit in this boat, but it's not overly big. I solo the boat all the time, and I feel really comfortable, and I feel like I can, get firm with it and hold it down. Sometimes, I do have to get off the water, but very rarely anymore. I pretty much can keep sailing in almost anything. Even solo. Now, it does get to the point where, it can get so much volume that, it gets hard to, even tacking gets sketchy. But I've worked my way up to being able to sail it in lots of wind, and I really like that. I don't have to have crew. It's nice to have crew, but I can go out and sail it alone, and I like that. It's fast, it tracks well. It's a fairly inexpensive boat to maintain, honestly. I think people diss these boats because the original run was by Chrysler, but actually they were pretty well made. There's no foam in there. They're solid fiberglass. They didn't use any coring. They didn't use any sandwiching, which in so many boats that goes bad and just sort of makes them really hard to rework. I've reworked this one where it needed some strength, and it is solid. And I can fix anything on it. I happen to do fiberglass work, which is really nice. I also do gel coat work. But the bottom line is the boat, the way they laid them up, there isn't any sandwiching, not in the Chryslers. And so really what you've got is fiberglass substrate that you can repair forever, really. You're just rebonding to the original fiberglass, and so you don't have to worry about cores that have gone bad, delaminations and all that. The floor of the boat, I've cut through the bottom of the hull to put in bailers, and it's solid. It's like fiberglass composite there. It's not solid fiberglass, but it's not foam. They use something that's just solid as a rock, really. And so I think the base, the spine of the boats, they're very sturdy. I think the upper decks need some reinforcement here and there sometimes, but I mean, my boat is a 1975, and it's got the aging cracks and things like that, but I mean, it's solid, and I can keep it solid. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about suddenly discovering, some core or delamination that's suddenly appearing in like so many boats you hear about. So, they sail well. They were built pretty well. The Nichols boats are probably built really well. I know some friends that have those. They're awesome. So I found it to be a great boat. I was going to maybe get something when I retired, something else. And I realized that really I already had my retirement boat that I just, put myself into it. And, the money, the return on my investment is just insane good. I mean, for what I've spent, I've gotten so much enjoyment out of this craft. Good sales make a big difference. Maintenance. You can't keep your boat too well maintained, but you can also overdo everything, I mean, I try to head things off that look like they're going to break and fix them before they break. Stuff breaks, no doubt. It's not fun, but I kind of think it is fun fixing things and working out new ways to, kind of improve things in rigging and stuff like that. I don't do a whole lot of big changes to the boat. I think that's kind of like messing with a stock car, just try to keep it, I don't want to redesign and do a bunch of things to alter the boat. I like it as it is. And what I've done is strengthen up the mast step. I've strengthened up the shroud plates, and I've got, videos about that. I built my own spinnaker chute. That was, something I probably wouldn't try again. It came out great. I would just buy one if you can still get one, if you're gonna, put a spinnaker in your boat, which I would strongly suggest once you get other basic things done. But I've never had any problem with the spars. I've replaced my centerboard with a Nichols. Also the rudder I've upgraded from the Chrysler. The Chrysler foils were pretty bad, actually. I think the hull and the basic construction of the boat was pretty good. That people have referred to the mast as like a telephone pole. It is pretty stout and it doesn't bend very easy, but by God, it's not going to fold up on you. And I'm in a lot of wind sometimes, and I'm glad that it's as strong as it is. So anyway, I love the boat. I love sailing it. There's other great boats out there, of course. I've sailed the Flying Dutchman. I started in a laser. I've sailed, little Capri dinghies. I've been on different keel boats. I've sailed in the Etchells. I've been on a Moore 24 a couple of times. My comment that if a boat has winches, it's too big is about right for me. That's just me. I like pulling lines. I like a scale where my muscle power is, just up to the task. With just compound blocks. I don't want, much less electric winches and stuff like that. So I love the scale of the boat. It's 6-foot beam. It's 18 feet long. It crosses over wave sets well out on the Columbia, which, it's a big river. And then you get in the gorge and it's a lot of wind and a big river. So, it's nice to have that hull length and the beam. So, if anybody's got any questions, you know, shoot me a question. I've sailed this boat for, you know, about 14 years now, and I've done a lot of work on mine to upgrade it. If it needed to be done, I've probably done it. There's Buccaneer sailors that are much better than me, racers and all that, but I put a lot of time in this boat and I enjoy it, and I do race it, but I mainly just, you know, like to get out and day sail.
Just got back in at 5 o'clock. So he's got a Tams or...
No matter what's out there, it's fine, you know, 25, 30, we can easily handle anything out here.
Tanzer 16 Weekender is what they call it.
The overnighter.
Overnighter. It rocks. Oh yeah, I see her.
Here's the Buccaneer 16 on 14.
18.
So a lot of my friends like to go out and sail in the Buck. I've got a friend, Mark Pomeroy. He's working on a big boat to get it on the water. He's done a lot of blue water sailing, grew up in Southern Cal. And, you know, we're out in the gorge and we're sailing the Buck. He's crewing for me. You know, we're coming off a broad reach. We're going on to a reach. We're already screaming pretty good. And mischievously, Mark will just kind of lean over and yank the main sheet in another foot. And that's kind of my cue to, you know, hike out another foot, get your shoulders back another foot somehow when I'm already pretty maxed out. It's hilarious. But, you know, it's just that kind of boat. You get two people in it, you get out in wind, and you just fly. You know, I'm usually able to surf it in, I don't know, downwind. I'd say I can surf it in 10 to 12 if the wave sets are right. So it's just a blast. If you've gotten to this part of the video, thank you, or any part of it. I do these to share my knowledge and my enthusiasm on sailing. I don't try to sell anything. I don't bug anybody to subscribe to the channel. I figure if the videos are beneficial and they like them, they will do that. So I just appreciate people who are interested in sailing. So again, thank you.